The pain of regret slash rejection. That's what I'm coming on here to talk about today, and that's going to be the title of today's video, right? So pretty much self-explanatory right from the title, right? We have all faced rejection. We have all faced regret, down in our lifetime, right? And we know the pain that comes behind that. We know the feeling that comes behind that, i.e. pain, right? The reason I put those two together, and I'm a put a little slash in between it, regret slash regret slash dang it regret slash rejection, is because I feel like those two coincide and they go together, right? Like I said, we all have faced rejection and regret in our lifetime, right? Now, the reason being I put these two together because I feel like they coincide, and you experience one with another, or sometimes you may just experience one thing at one time, right? If that made sense. I hope I didn't say the same thing twice, right? Just a disclaimer too, this is not going to be heavily edited or scripted or anything like that, so excuse me if I may be all over the place, right? Like I said, the reason I feel like these coincide is because when you face regret, sometimes it may be the fear of you having rejection, right? Say you wanted to go for a job opportunity, right? You wanted to go for a higher job opportunity that pays you more, and maybe a place that's a little bit closer to you and you don't have to travel that far. It's an overall better option, right? But you had that fear of rejection. Oh, I'm not qualified like that. Oh, I don't think I had the expertise to step into there yet. Things like that. You let that fear build up of you being rejected, and then you go on and you regret not going to, even try to sign up or apply for that job opportunity because, you may know somebody who gotten in that doesn't have the same, may not have the same knowledge that you have, but they were able to get in, i.e. you regretting your decision, i.e. because, your fear of rejection, right? And that's how I feel like those two go together, those two coincide, right? Like I said, they can be placed in their own individual ways too, their own individual meanings and discernings between the two. But I put those two together because I feel like regret most commonly comes from, mostly stems from fear of rejection, right? Like I said with that first example right there, right? And your fear of rejection could just be from, overall daily things in general, right? The two have their differences, to put it pretty much simple, right? And you may be asking, well, what's a good way to get past this? What's a good way to stem away from it and not fall into the trap of having rejection, right? Or not rejection, but regret, right? What's a good way to stem away from that, right? And it's just for you to face that adversity, face the adversity of whatever situation that you may be going through, right? And this is a topic that I touched on earlier, and some that I already speak about, right? I may leave that in the comment section below for, if you want to go watch that first and then come back to this, right? But it's for you to face the fear of rejection and face the fear of not having regret, right? Face the fear of you. How could I say this? Face your fear of regret, of missing out, pretty much, right? Face your fear of that, because if not, you'll miss out on a lot of life, and you'll miss out on opportunities to grow, right? Ask yourself this question. What do I want to do now, right? What is it that I want to do now? And is this something that I could skip past and worry about later? Or if not, am I going to regret not doing this 5, 10 years down the line? Ask that self your question Ask yourself, that question when you're in that scenario, when you're in that mindset, when you're in that situation to where you feel like the the meaning and the overall feeling of regret can come into play if you didn't step into that situation, if you didn't go, for that scenario, whatever it may be. Ask yourself, is this something that I can do now? And this is something that I should do now and just get it out the way and overall benefit me later on? Or is this something that if I end up skipping and not doing right now, that I'm going to regret 5 to 10 years down the line, right? Ask yourself that, write that down, and really sit with yourself and just let that sink in, right? If you feel like if you don't do it now and if you pass up on the opportunity, then go ahead and do that, right? Go ahead and do that and just get it out the way, right? Because you know that you're going to be faced with that feeling of regret later on down the line, right? And you don't want to have that keep building up, because by the time you get ready to leave this earth, hopefully you live a long and prosperous life. God bless anybody that watched this video, right? Say, you getting ready to leave this earth. If you steadily just, passing up and just skipping out on things, when you on your deathbed, you gonna regret your whole life. You gonna regret everything you did, and you gonna wish that you did things that you should have done in 5 to 10 years down the line, or back in the past, excuse me. You're gonna wish you did those things 5 to 10 years ago, when you had the time, when you had the energy, when you had the money, or when you were just in an overall better situation for yourself and what you were trying to do at that moment, right? So like I said, write that down and really let that sink in. And if it's something that's not that serious and you feel like you won't regret it later on down the line, then maybe it's not that serious, right? It's probably not that serious and probably something that you shouldn't worry about. But when you're posed with this question and you feel like, dang, if I don't do this now, I'm probably going to regret it later on down the line, then you need to do that, right? Because that pain and regret is never going to go away. It's always going to stem. It's always going to be around, like I said, until your deathbed, right? And you don't want to live your life like that, right? Because it's only so much time that we got on this earth until we, got to go back home, right? So if that's the way you feel when you get posed with that question, then you need to do it. Because the overall feeling of you going into that situation, regardless of if you get rejected, regardless if it don't go that good, it's going to be 10 times better than you skipping past it and just having that feeling of regret linger on for years upon end, like I said, up until you're gone, right? So you just have to face through that situation, face through the adversity. If you're not that confident, still go towards it anyway, right? And it's going to take time, and it's going to, not going to come overnight, right? And this is stuff that I done said in many videos, previously before, so I'm not going to go into it that much, right? But like I said, write that question down, pose that to yourself and really sit with it, right? Do things that you need to do in order to build your confidence in order to go into that situation, right? Learn and understand that not everybody is going to say yes. Sometimes you're going to get met with the answer no. And that's really going to hurt, especially when it's something that you want badly, right? Sometimes you're going to be faced with that question, not the question, but sometimes you're going to get faced with the answer no, right? But at least you got to go through that situation and experience that, and not just skip past it and have that feeling of regret, right? So that's what I want to come on. That's what I wanted, to come on here and talk about. Let me know if it's some things that you could also do to help not necessarily cope, but navigate through this feeling, right? This feeling that we all deal with on this earth, right? The pain of regret and the pain of rejection, right? Let me know if it's some things that I may have missed out on. Let me know if it's some things I should have said better. But the main solution to this problem is just for you to ask yourself that question and to really sit down and think. And like I said, if it's something that you feel like ain't that serious, you can go past it. But if it's something you feel like you were going to regret, go for it and just do it regardless. Whatever and however you may feel in that situation. Because, that regret is always going to sit there and it's always going to be there, right? But make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.